Arsenal have started with 3 points, as 1-0 to the Arsenal ringed around Old Trafford, as Mikel Arteta's men secured a gargantuan victory. Today we'll get the massive breakdown on the game, discuss Mikel Arteta's brand new game plan, as well as a change for Martin Odegaard. We'll break down the performance of Victor Gyökeres, finding out what's the plan for Max Staumann, as well as a potential move for Antoine Semenyo. Yo, what is going on guys, my name is Bass14, welcome back to your boys channel after an opening day victory, 3 points in the bag, but a performance that needs to be spoken about. So as per my friend, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy enjoy 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with the 5 things from Man United 0, Arsenal 1. Our first game of a brand new campaign going to Old Trafford was never going to be easy, but Mikel Arteta was going strong, going for the fullback pair of Ben White and Ricardo Calafiori, with a strong midfield and even stronger front line, by a performance that was nowhere near our normal standards. This was a scrappy game that Arsenal had to get the job done, with set piece FC once again coming good. Ricardo Calafiori cashing in the far post, with Arsenal having now scored 31 goals from corners since the start of 2023-24, 11 more than any other team in that period. Arsenal aren't just good at set pieces, I'd argue we're world class. For all the valid concerns in open play, having this set piece ability in our locker provides Arsenal a bailout. But in terms of Calafiori's performance itself, dropping an 8.1 rating, 1 goal scored, 3 clearances and 1 tackle. After the game, as he says, for sure we could have done better, but in the end, if you want to win the league, you can only take the points even if you didn't play your best game. With Mikel Arteta saying that Calafiori has an aura that is very special, he can enter this room and you would notice. But for as good as Calafiori was, the man behind him was even better. David Raya dropping a player of the match performance, a masterclass at an 8.1 rating, 7 massive saves and a 0.75 goals prevented, with a massive 5 saves from inside the box, making more saves than any other goalkeeper on opening weekend. The fact that our goalkeeper was the man of the match just shows you the type of game this was. Arsenal scrappy, nowhere near the technical best. It was a game to rely upon our real quality, our very sturdy defence. But also in the case of David Raya, another complete performance. Having made so many important saves last season, there's a saying in the footballing world, to win a title, your goalkeeper needs to save you at least 10 points a season. Well, in this game, you can count 3 for David Raya. The second thing that we need to talk about has to be Arsenal's style of play. Take for example the performance of Captain Martin Odegaard, dropping a 7.6 rating, with 63 touches, 31 accurate passes and 1 key pass, as well as 5 accurate long balls. This was a different type of performance, where Odegaard in the past has been all about keeping the ball and keeping it ticking. This time there was a clear emphasis on through balls in behind. Take for example this sequence of play in the 9th minute, Raya firing the ball out to get Arsenal in a quick attack. Odegaard was direct straight away, firing the ball in behind to Bukayo Saka, with the whole idea of Arsenal being far better in transition. This game was an example of change. Arsenal trying to adapt to a different style of play, less emphasis on control, and more trying to hurt the opposition. As Odegaard said at halftime, I think we let Man United play too easy through us at times, but there's a lot of space also when we regain the ball. We just need to be a bit more accurate there. It's been a bit too hectic. Having now won 71 games as an Arsenal captain, he joins Patrick Vieira in joint second, only behind Tony Adams' 130. In a week where the former Arsenal captain caused a bit of controversy, questioning Martin Odegaard as Arsenal captain, saying that Arsenal can't win the league with Odegaard as a skipper. Whilst Mikel Arteta said before the game, I asked the Arsenal players to vote for the captain and by a mile, by 100 miles, everybody chose the same person, which is Martin Odegaard, which is the most clear sign that you can have, so there's no question about that. This is going to be a massive year for the Arsenal captain. With all the pressure for Arsenal to go win a Premier League title, with a recent adaptation to our style of play, it's all the idea of getting the best out of a certain Victor Gyökeres. Take for example this stat here, that Martin Semenyo made 6 line-breaking passes in the first half, more than any other player. What we are seeing is the Arsenal teammates trying to adapt, trying to create an environment for Victor Gyökeres to thrive. A player making his Premier League debut while dropping a 6.0 rating, without a single shot all game, 0 successful dribbles, and only 4 passes completed. Up against his former manager in Ruben Amorim, a man that knows him so well. Against Matthäus de Ligt he was struggling, trying his best to get involved in the game, but ultimately a lot of huffing and puffing. But it's also the idea of adaptation. Not only are Arsenal getting used to Gyökeres, but Gyökeres is also looking for chemistry. The more that he plays alongside the likes of Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, the more that you're going to see a natural connection form. As Mikel Arteta says, the best data was my first phone call with Gyökeres. I wanted to just look at his reaction coming to Arsenal, putting on the shirt and the expectation. How do you handle it? His eyes open like this. That is my dream. But in a game where Arsenal needed some control, off came Gyökeres and on came Kai Havertz, dropping a 6.8 rating, with 11 touches, 4 accurate passes and 2 key passes. With Havertz on the field, Arsenal had a better target. While Gyökeres is very strong, Havertz does have a little bit more aerial presence, while also being a midfielder by trade as well, able to drop deeper and connect play together. In this game it was 1-for-1. But going forwards, you do wonder, in games that Arsenal need some more firepower, could we see Havertz and Gyökeres play together? Well, according to Mikel Arteta, they can play together. One of the biggest qualities of Kai is that he can play in various positions. Now we have the options. On the right, we have options. On the left, we have options. The third thing we have to talk about is the centre-back partnership. From Gabriel Magalhaes dropping a 7.0 rating, with 3 clearances, 3 block shots. This was a monster class, especially if you consider that one key detail. This was his first full 90 minutes after tearing his hamstring towards the end of last season. Despite concerns from some Arsenal fans that Gabriel would not return the same, this game was a reminder that he is still just as good, thriving alongside his partner in crime William Saliba, who also dropped a 7.5 rating. 7 clearances, 2 block shots, 1 interception and 4 tackles. For a game where Arsenal had to rely upon that defence, not only in terms of the goal itself, but also the game management. But in terms of Saliba and his Arsenal future, according to Fabrizio Romano, Andrea Berta is now really focused on agreeing a new contract with William Saliba, and Arsenal want to go in strong. The Gunners are aware that he's high on the list of Real Madrid, and they want to avoid an attack. For Arsenal, it gets really simple. When you've got 2 centre-backs of this quality, of course you want to keep them, but they also deserve a league title, with a chance to go down in history not just of Arsenal Football Club, but also the Premier League. The fourth thing to focus on has to be the stats. In terms of the open play XG, United produced 1.35 and Arsenal only 0.29, with certain players not being anywhere near their normal level. Take for example Declan Rice, a player that normally thrives in big games, but was nowhere near the level in this one. As Mikel Arteta said after the game, we need more progress in many departments, and we are going to get much better. With even Bukayo Saka saying, we are happy with the 3 points, to come away from Old Trafford with a win, but it was not a great performance. We were not up to our usual standards, the basics and sloppy giveaways. A lot of the messages after the game have been similar. Arsenal players all openly admitting this performance was nowhere near good enough. But in a weird way, it also builds confidence. To go to Old Trafford on opening day was never going to be easy, but to not play well and still get the 3 points. Some people will call that lucky. When it comes to Arsenal and winning games they don't deserve, over the past years, how many times have we gone to Old Trafford, played the football, kept the ball and done all the right things, yet left with a grand total of 0 points? That's why the fifth thing that we need to talk about is our record at Old Trafford. As Mikel Arteta said after the game, I think it was 18 years or 22 years here at Old Trafford without winning before I came, and now I go into that dressing room. We won and we are still not happy. That is a good sign. Having now won at Old Trafford 3 times in 6 years, which is more than Jurgen Klopp. Every team has a certain ground where you're not going to get your best performances, but if you can leave that with 3 points, that's all that really matters. But for Mikel Arteta versus Manchester United, that is now 8 wins in 12 games, the highest win rate against Man United in Premier League history. But also in terms of the big occasion, Arsenal are now 22 games unbeaten against the Premier League Big Six, having not lost a single big game since the start of 2023-24. This stat here really caught my eyes. 800 days unbeaten against Man City, then over 1,000 for United, Spurs, Liverpool and Chelsea, but a record that is about to get tested, with Leeds, Liverpool, Forest City, Newcastle and West Ham to come. In the opening 3 weeks of the season, Arsenal would have gone to Old Trafford, got their 3 points, but also have to go to Anfield, not to even mention St James's Park. We all know the start wasn't going to be easy, but with Leeds at home next up, that's a game where I'm looking towards the performance. Because big game Arsenal has been a thing for time, but it's more the games against the smaller teams that cost Arsenal so daily losses. But moving on to the latest Arsenal news, and starting off with a few players that weren't available yesterday. Take for example Christian Norgard, not involved in the Arsenal squad. As confirmed by Arsenal after the game, he was out due to a medical problem, but one player that did travel with the Arsenal squad was 15-year-old Max Stallman, after missing Arsenal's final game of pre-season, as Arsenal gave him time to enjoy his school holidays. Here he was back in training this week, and he was a part of the Arsenal travelling squad that went to Old Trafford, but not involved in the matchday squad itself. As confirmed on the Premier League website, Dalman is now a part of the Arsenal first team squad, listed officially as a forward. Despite being only 15 years of age, it looks like Mikel Arteta will use him this season. And according to former Liverpool player Jamie Redknapp, I have not seen this buzz around the place since Wayne Rooney. Dalman is going to be sensational. But for Mikel Arteta, he also has a responsibility for a player so clearly talented but also still so young. When you throw him in a training session, he just glides. That's what he does with the ball. We need to be conscious of his age, but at the same time, let him enjoy it and fulfill his potential. Another exciting attacking midfielder coming through the Arsenal ranks, alongside a certain Ethan Nwaneri, and of course the Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard. But what about Arsenal and their transfer moves? After all the reports this summer confirmed that Eberitse Eze was an Arsenal target, with even the likes of David Ornstein saying Arsenal were on the market for an attacking midfielder, it looks like Eze is coming to North London, but not to play in the red and white, after a Fabrizio Romano exclusive confirmed that Tottenham and Crystal Palace chairmen Daniel Levy and Steve Parish were in direct contact for the Eberitse Eze deal. Spurs are willing to offer £55 million fixed fee plus £5 million in add-ons to get the deal done, as he has informed Palace last week with his desire to join Tottenham Hotspur. This one hurts, I won't even lie. For a boyhood Arsenal fan that was a part of the Arsenal Academy, crying after being released at 13 years of age, here he was back in 2018 during his time at Queen's Park Rangers, confirming himself as an Arsenal fan and his love for Thierry Henry, hoping that Arsenal win the league. His desire to play for Arsenal was always clear. If we'd put the money on the table, Eze would have picked Arsenal over Spurs, But for a player that also wants to play in the Champions League, the reality is Spurs have gone there, they've put the money down, and the player sees it as a project to go to. But for Arsenal fans, the questions will be asked. Despite already making 6 signings, why have we not made a move for Eze? With even the reliable Kieran Maguire confirming, Arsenal have huge PSR headroom, and they could have easily completed a £68 million deal for Eberitse Eze if they wished to. Well, according to David Ornstein, Arsenal do have a lot of PSR headroom, so they could do more, but they are tight on UEFA's financial fair play rules. With an increasing desire to get players off their books, just look at the matches squad for the game against Man United. Despite having such a strong bench, there were some notable absentees, with no space for Jakub Kiwior or Alexander Zinchenko, as well as no Fabio Vieira, Sambi Lokonga or Nelson. Andrea Berta, my friend, is as clear as day. We need to get these players off the books. So in terms of the future of Fabio Vieira, according to Jordan Davies, Arsenal have been told by Stuttgart to lower the demands of Vieira. The Germans only want to pay a maximum of £17 million including add-ons, while Arsenal are eyeing up a deal closer to £25 million. Stuttgart are ready to move on to other targets if talks break down. This is where it's so annoying, seeing our rivals not only sign players, but move on their fringe players as well. In the case of Arsenal, despite trying all summer, we are still yet to see any significant departures. Then you look at Liverpool, closing into securing £25 million for academy player Ben Doe. We're talking a guy that has barely even played in the Premier League, yet Liverpool are still able to secure a massive sum of money. For Arsenal, we need to learn, not only in terms of getting players off our books, but maximising their values. But that's where you got the future of Jakub Kiwior, not involved in the Arsenal matches squad for the game at Old Trafford. According to reports in Poland, the player may leave Arsenal, with FC Porto already making an official offer back in July. The Pole wants to leave England. A player that Arsenal have a position of strength. Not only does Kiwior have a long-term contract, but he's also a player that Arsenal are not actively looking to sell. If a team wants him, the right offer has to arrive, because it looks like Arsenal are eyeing up replacements. Palmeiras defender Luis Benedetti is a target for Arsenal. The deal has already received approval from Mikel Arteta, as Arsenal look to secure the 6'6" Brazilian. But that's not what Arsenal fans really care about. After watching another game of Gabriel Martinelli start as our left winger, but not complete a single dribble all game. Likewise in the case of Noni Madueke, with Spurs going for Eze and Arsenal missing out on a massive target. Despite reports already confirming that we do have the money, it makes you wonder, what are they waiting for? Do they have another top target in mind? Well, after all the focus was put on Rodrigo, you've also got another emerging target in the Premier League. We are talking Antoine Semenyo of Bournemouth, a player that confirmed last season that he is an Arsenal fan. According to an IndyCar exclusive, Semenyo has just signed a 1-year extension with Bournemouth, but that hasn't stopped Arsenal from making inquiries. Bournemouth is scratching their heads, wondering why Arsenal is leaving it so late in the transfer window, as finding a replacement at this stage would be near impossible. Semenyo himself is totally keen on making a move to Arsenal, but the clock is ticking. Will Arsenal push through with a late bid, or will Bournemouth hold on to their star? This could be a game-changing sign. Not only is Semenyo a fantastic dribbler, but as seen from those 2 goals in Anfield on opening day, he is also fantastic in transition. With the whole goal of Arsenal to be better on the counter-attack this season, Semenyo would improve that massively. But after just letting go of forward Dango Otara, even after spending £25 million on Ben Doe, this all falls down to Arsenal. How much money are you willing to put on the table? And can you turn Bournemouth's heads? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all other social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Man United 0, Arsenal 1, as well as all of your latest Arsenal news. It was not a fantastic performance, but we got the 3 points, and that is all that matters, my friends. I will see you next time. Take care, and in a bit.